You're listening to a Joycast from GLBTIQ community radio station, Joy 94.9. Bent Notes is our weekly jazz program going to air each Sunday night.
My guest tonight on Bent Notes has had a very busy year and a very busy day today. Artistically directing the Wangaratta Festival a couple of weeks ago, although I think it might have been a bit more work than just the weekend. Performing his second concert in his Usefulness of Art series back in August, and now performing the third in the series called Travelling Tales in December, in fact later this week. It's my pleasure to welcome back to the Bent Notes studio a musician who has been described by Leon Gettler as defying classification. Adam Simmons, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be back, Paul. David.
Yes, I'm David and you're Adam.
Yes.
Will we start that again and fix it up in the edit? Yeah. Thank you for coming back. That probably just tells me...
she was talking with someone else who loved it. And it's like... And that's, I think, the best thing is about a festival and of Wangaratta's size is there's many different journeys you can take, and sometimes they cross over, and the diversity is fantastic. So on behalf of all the team, I'm sure we all really enjoyed it, and it was just lovely to get to the other end and have... there were just couple of small little gripes. Yes, we need some more toilets at the Blues Marquee, but that can be fixed.
They're the type of things that you learn and you improve on the following year. The one thing I should say is that while I did see you running around all the time, you always had a smile on your face, so I could tell that it was going okay.
It was going okay. But that was largely because lots of other people had smiles on their faces. So, yeah.
It just had a great feel to it. One of the things that you did up there was you had the Wangaratta Horns of Death performing with Spider Bait, which was quite a change of pace for the festival in a sense. Yeah. And in another sense not, because the festival's all about collaborating with different parties. Yep. How did that one go?
So the Wangaratta Horns of Death, for those that don't know, you can find it on the Wangaratta. Somebody did film it on the Wangaratta Facebook page. But it was... over about 3 months, I did rehearsals with local community members, school groups, people from some of the local bands. People travelled as far as Mansfield, Corryong, Cobram to be there. And we had people that were around the age of 10, maybe younger, but around 10 to probably 70 odd. And we had about probably 50 to 60 people all up. Joined Spider Bait on stage on the main Blues Marquee, and so it was really fantastic to see the Wangaratta locals front and centre, and they weren't just there for it wasn't a token effort. They really put in.
They had to work for it.
Well, and they made the band work too. So the band really embraced the horns. So it was it was just a really lovely moment to bring the community full frontal, really.
And there'll be lots of people who will be talking about that for years to come.
Yes, that's the plan. So there'll be excuses to find the Wangaratta Horns of Death again, I'm sure.
I think we need to have those excuses. We need to get them back. Yes. I just like the name apart from anything else. My guest on Bent Notes tonight is Melbourne musician Adam Simmons. You're listening to Bent Notes.
Joy 94.9.
Thank you for listening to a Joycast from Joy 94.9. Find more Joycasts and show blogs, go to joy.org.au.
Where my guest is Melbourne musician Adam Simmons, who's recently back from all that work on the Wangaratta Festival and looking forward to the new year of the festival, the 2018 festival. So not long to go now, Adam, only about 11 months.
No, we've already been thinking and talking about it for a few months now. So yes, it doesn't stop, but we'll keep it going.
But now you're returning in a sense back to a little bit of normality for you in Melbourne. You're about to perform the third work in your Usefulness of Art series.
Yep.
And back in August, you performed with your own creative music ensemble the second work in the series, which was simply entitled The Usefulness of Art.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity to express your multi-sensory ideas in musical, costume, lighting and artwork as part of the performance. I felt it really worked well in that space at 45 Downstairs. What memories do you have of that series of concerts?
The last one, well, yes, it was. It's the name. The piece that was performed last time was kind of the series the concert that inspired this series and the kind of initiative of, and so I knew that it worked. It was originally performed by Origami, which is a trio, whereas this was realised by about 15 musicians. We had a couple drop out due to sickness and children, but the actual kind of the way to put the music together was actually very much the same. It's just one melody that we all basically share and work out how to deal with it. And then from that melody, that not everyone has to play it because somebody's probably playing it. And there's a lot of flexibility. And I deliberately, I tried very much to pull out of directing the group. And we'd done it once before, and it did grow and develop of its own accord. And then over the 4 concerts, it really changed each night. And it's the thing that I enjoy about jazz, is that things will change, and it's a thing that I enjoy about trying to consider about community, that if you actually trust people, if you give over, if you give people the opportunity and the freedom to explore with respect, then they usually return it with great respect. And you get to very unusual, unexpected places that you wouldn't otherwise.
But places that, put all together, create a beautiful outcome.
Yeah.
Now, I was reading that there are 5 works in the series, but they were inspired by a quote. What was that quote?
As for me, this is Auguste Rodin, which I always have to try and remember because I sometimes get it slightly mixed up. But as for me, I call useful anything that gives us happiness.
It's a beautiful quote. I'd never heard it before.
And it's from a book called Rodin on Art, and it's from a chapter called The Usefulness of the Artist. And so I've directly just ripped it off, but it was something that I read back nearly 30 years ago when I was at VCA, early 90s, trying to work out, well, why am I allowed to be a musician? Why, what use am I to society? And in a way, that chapter, and particularly that phrase, was the thing that helped give me a why. It's been something that has informed a lot of my musical making, and I'm still using the word useful, but I've sort of shifted, and I think it's more necessary, actually. So,
that's interesting.
It does feel actually, just art in general, it just feels fundamental to our existence and our, and kind of probably how we got here.
The necessity of art.
Yeah, but that's a bit harsh, So,
well, but that's your interpretation, isn't it? And you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah.
As others are entitled to their opinions.
Yeah.
Now, the third work is called The Usefulness of Art.
The third one
is called The Travelling Tales,
yes,
from the Usefulness of Art series. I'll read what I've written down properly, and it makes sense there. Now, I take it from that title that it does reflect something of your travels around the world.
Yes.
And why did you decide to use your travels as an inspiration for this part of the work?
Well, I was originally going to be writing a work. I was invited to Greece in 2013 to work with the Municipal Jazz Band about 6 months earlier. And then about 2 months beforehand, I was asked, well, can't use the Municipal Jazz Band because it's going to be a ticketed event and they aren't allowed to do it if it's ticketed. But we've got a string orchestra. Have you got some music for that? And I'm like, trip to Greece. Yes. So, and I had to quickly write some program notes for a festival. And so I was like, oh, what do I do? I'm going travelling. Oh, travelling. Okay, travelling tales. And so I just used it. I used the name Travelling Tales to sort of go, cool, I'll write a bunch of basically like musical postcards, vignettes. And Gil Askey once told me something along the lines of, just remember that, that horn, it's not about the music, it's about the travel you do with it. It's about the people you meet. It's the food you eat, the wine you drink, the friends you make, and yeah, it's to go travelling somewhere. It was like, well, what can I share, or what it is kind of, well, by taking my music somewhere, I am travelling, and it's the thing that is really special.
Do you use particular sounds or riffs for particular parts of your travel?
Not specifically. I don't. But each musical postcard, I guess, if one is simply a single step. It's which is just the reference to, Journey of 1,000 Miles begins with a single step. There's another one, Threnody, which is a little darker, and it's more a lament, a wailing to those that have lost lives travelling. And that, because travel, people travel for different reasons. I've been fortunate to travel of my own volition to places where I want to go most of the time, but there are those that have had to, been forced out of their countries, their homes, and have had to travel for other reasons. So, and
there's emotion involved in that, and music is one of those things that is great at passing emotion across.
Yeah. So I like contrasts. So having my musical postcards allowed me to explore a whole bunch of different emotions, if you like, different. So it's not vital that you understand every story. And I've told you, in the liner notes, I'll give you some indications, but I don't always give you everything. And,
just enough to get the mind thinking.
Yeah, and then it's how you deal with it.
You've got your sax with you sitting there on your lap, so I assume you didn't get the sax out just so it can sit there and look good.
No, well, I was going to play along with Summertime, but it finished up too quickly.
You've got a piece to play for us tonight as a bit of a teaser for the upcoming gigs. Let's have a listen to that now. What is it, and is there a story behind it? There will be. This
is called Miłość, which is Polish. The infinitive, like l'amour, to love. And because I've got limited Polish, it was just, again, it was contemplating what Gil Askey told me about the travel. So it's kind of very simply about the love of travelling. It's a nice, beautiful, and normally it is performed just solo. So yes, the rest of it will be with a 20-piece string orchestra, but this will be more or less what you'll hear.
Fantastic. This is Adam Simmons on Joy 94.9.
94.9.
Thank you for listening to a Joycast from Joy 94.9. Find more Joycasts and show blogs, go to joy.org.au.
My guest on Bent Notes tonight is Melbourne musician Adam Simmons, who's performing this week the third piece of work in his Usefulness of Art series. It's called Travelling Tales. We just heard a piece there that was very, very beautiful, Adam.
Thank you very much, David.
It had character, it had heart to it, I think would be one word for it.
Well, yeah, that would be a good word. I'm happy with that.
Because it allows you to sit back and just feel the music. And I suppose that means that whilst you have a particular sense of where that came from on your travels, others in the room will have different senses.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things about music and about art. I don't think it's just about giving you the answers. It's about posing some questions, and that by experiencing what someone's offering you, it helps you to reflect and consider the world a little deeper. So that's it's kind of the hope.
Now, you'll be considering the world a little deeper on Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday with the Arco Symphonic Ensemble, 21-piece string orchestra.
Yes.
What in the Usefulness of Art back in August, you had your own ensemble.
Yep.
You've gone with a different ensemble. You mentioned before that when you put this piece of work together, you scratched your head and had to come up with something that suited the string ensemble.
Yeah.
So I think that answers my question about why you're working with a string orchestra.
Yep. And
what is it about this orchestra that you believe allows them to fit in with your music?
Well, I've worked with the conductor on a number of occasions, Timothy Phillips, and I have performed as a member of Arco before, and then there's another ensemble, Bolt Ensemble, that's worked in collaboration with Arco. So there's connections. I know a couple of the musicians in the ensemble, but the reason for choosing Arco in particular is that their specialty is Australian repertoire, and particularly looking at works that have already been performed and premiered. And this work, it has been played, it was premiered in Greece in 2013, and then in 2014 I performed it with an orchestra of some professionals, some community members with the Ballarat Symphony Orchestra in 2014 in Ballarat, but I haven't performed it in Melbourne. And so this will be the third, fourth, fifth and sixth times it's actually ever been played live. And working with Arco, it sort of definitely fits within their brief in terms of revisiting works. And because that's one of the things that doesn't always happen, particularly I think more in the sort of contemporary classical world, is that you get a new work up and then they want the next new thing. And then the next new thing, or they just want Bach, So it can be hard to get into a work as both an audience and as the performers. So part of the Usefulness of Art series is getting a little deeper in for all of us. So having the 4 concerts. And so, I'm looking forward to that.
That's good. You mentioned earlier on that the Usefulness of Art in August, there's a lot of freedom given to the musicians in the ensemble. Does this work have the same degree of freedom for your musicians?
It doesn't have the same degree, but there's definitely bits where, one where normally you'd just probably ask string players to drone and they just can do it forever and ever and ever. There's one piece where they do that, but then one where I went, well, no, you play it to the length of your breath, and to get them engaged with their own body in a way. And so that they enter my world a little, because I have to deal with breath even though I can circular breathe. So I can match them, but there are moments where I've tried to find ways if I'd known who I was writing it for, I would have offered more freedom. But the original orchestra, I didn't know them at all, and I didn't know what I was going to get. They were great. Intrati String Orchestra were fantastic. So that's also why I'm looking forward to working with Arco this week, because I know a few of the members and they know me, so they kind of go, yeah, right, we can push this.
We can do something a little bit out there.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for dropping in tonight.
Thank you very much, David.
This upcoming work, starting this Thursday night, December 7th, through to Sunday, December 10. It's at 45 Downstairs. All the details and tickets, 45downstairs.com. Again, thank you so much. Multi-instrumentalist and composer Adam Simmons performing Travelling Tales at 45 Downstairs. Thank you so much for popping in.
Great. Thank you so much, David.
Let's have a listen now to some more music from Origami, Adam Simmons' trio. This one is from The Usefulness of Art, and it's called Faith.
Joy 94.9 is a GLBTIQ community radio station in Melbourne, Australia. Support Joy 94.9 by becoming a member at joy.org.au.